Welcome back to another TBR jar video. We are going to be picking our monthly TBR for the month of November, which I cannot believe it's already like the end of 2025. Where did the year go? Anyway, we're not going to dwell on that. We have our handy dandy TBR jar here, and we're thinking along the lines of picking maybe 5, maybe 6 books. I don't know. October was a really good reading month for me, and I feel like I'm still in that same state of mind. So like I still really want to pick up books and just read them, digest them. So I don't know. I think we'll decide once we see how we're going with the prompts. But one thing's for sure, we do have our book club book of the month, and that is If It Makes You Happy by Julie Olivia. This is a romance, the perfect quintessential fall romance. I've heard so many amazing things about this, especially for like a seasonal fall read, which I feel like I'm gonna cut those types of books some slack because I feel like their main priority is to put you in the holiday or festive seasonal spirit. And this one I've heard just has like a genuinely good romance plot, has a lot of good bones. So I'm really excited, and the cover is absolutely beautiful. If you guys don't know, I have a little book club with me and 2 of my friends. So this is a book that we're gonna be reading in November. So already automatically this is book 1 for our November TBR. Now we have our TBR jar, and we're gonna pick a couple of prompts, and then whatever fits the prompt we're gonna pick off of our TBR cart here. So 3-tier cart with a lot of reads, and then we also have 2 library books right here, the Buffalo Hunter and Who is Government. I don't know, I went to the library I think last week and I saw those. They caught my eye, so these are also up for grabs if I don't forget about them, which I might because they're literally behind me. But let's get started with TBR prompt number 1. Picking our first prompt, we are gonna go with this one, and it says, has a TV or movie adaptation? Interesting. I feel like I actually have a lot of options. What about ones that are like announced but aren't out yet? We actually have quite a few different options. We have The Haunting of Hill House, which is a Netflix TV show. We have The Hobbit, which of course has a movie or a movie series. We have Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire, The Handmaid's Tale, and last but not least, A Storm of Swords by George R. Martin, which is, of course, Game of Thrones. So honestly, out of all of these, I love that they're all basically pretty fall coded. Like I could choose any of these and be genuinely satisfied. I do think I'm leaning towards these 3 a bit more heavily, Harry Potter, the Game of Thrones book, or The Handmaid's Tale over these 2, just because I am quite currently in the middle of Harry Potter, so obviously it would continue the series. We do have Game of Thrones, which is book 3. A Storm of Swords, I think, is book 3 or 4, which is what I'm on. And then I've been dying to read The Handmaid's Tale because I really want to watch the TV show, but obviously I want to read the book first. So out of these 3, I think I have to just choose one. I would honestly love for all 3 of these to be on my November TBR because I genuinely want to read all 3 of these this month. So I'm gonna have to decide. I mean, obviously they're kind of all very different. We have dystopian, we have high fantasy, we have kind of a YA fantasy, and they're all different in terms of length. We have a very short book, a very thick book, and then the biggest, heaviest book literally on my shelf. I think I want to go with the Harry Potter book just because, like I mentioned, I'm 3 books in. I want to continue the series because I want to watch all the movies. So I think just because of that, I'm going to choose this, but I genuinely hope I have another option to pick The Handmaid's Tale or the Game of Thrones book because I'm dying to read those. Book 2 on the November TBR. Now, of course, have to fix our cart. This one's going to be a struggle to put in, so we're going to leave her like that. That was a great TBR to start off the video. Love the vibes. We're gonna manifest that energy going forward. Next prompt is this one. A yellow cover. Okay, I was gonna go for this one, The People We Keep, but it has yellow on the cover. I wouldn't say the cover is necessarily yellow. Oh, The Hobbit tricked me. The spine is yellow, but the cover actually doesn't really have any yellow. I don't know if I have any on here that are fully yellow. Also up here, we always keep our book of the month books. They're just like on the top rack of the cart, so you can't see them too well. Yikes. Honestly, our only one is this one down here. I don't even know if you can see it. All right, so unfortunately, this is the only one left, and I say unfortunately because this is a summer read and it somehow snuck its way onto my cart. I don't want to read this month. I know if I put it on the TBR, I'm not going to read it. So I think we're gonna null and void that last prompt, which I've never done, I think, in the 2 years that I've been making these videos, but this is just not gonna be productive. I mean, we have some other books with yellow on the cover, but obviously this one kind of fits the prompt the best. But we're not doing that. I'm sorry. We're just in such a good reading mood. I do not want to put myself in a slump, and I know I'm just not gonna read that book. So unfortunately, let's pick another one. All right, this one says male author, which is fun because I feel like majority of the books I have on here, and typically the ones that I do genuinely read, are female authors. But I have a couple of male authors that I've been eyeing. Obviously, one of them being George R. Martin. I also really would want to read Stephen King. I have him on the cart. Oh, and then of course, our 2 library books, Stephen Graham Jones. That's a male, I'm assuming. Ooh. Between these 2, I think these 2 are ones that, I mean, I have more options. We have The Hobbit by Tolkien and Stephen King on there, but I think these 2 are ones that I would genuinely end up picking up. But I kind of want to do this one. I don't know. This one is so attractive. Like, the cover is genuinely so cool. I've heard a lot about it. I believe it's historical fiction, and I've heard it's like about indigenous people, and I just feel like I don't read about that enough. It's like historical fiction with a flair of mystery thrillers, and some of those books are like my favorite ever. So I think I want to go with this one just because this is a commitment, and I do genuinely want to read this so bad, but I don't know if this is the time. Like, I'm just leaning more towards this one. So we're gonna go with this one. Obviously too, it's a library book, so I will have to return it soon. That's an even better reason for it to go on the TBR, so. Book number 3, putting this one back. Let's see how many times we pull her. All right, prompt number 3 technically, but book number 4 is gonna be this one. Let's see, author's debut novel, interesting. I don't know if I have too many of those. I might have to consult Goodreads because off the top of my head, I don't know if any of these actually fit that prompt. So let me pull up Goodreads and do some research. I'm back. The research has been conducted, and there are 2 books that caught my eye from debut authors. These are the 2, Cleopatra and Frankenstein by Coco Mellors and The Names by Florence Knapp. Now, this book I got earlier in the year, May actually, because it's a book of the month book from this year, and this one I also bought about a month ago, but this would be interesting because this was this author's debut novel, but I have read a book from her already, her following book that came out this year, I think, Blue Sisters. I think it came out last year. I loved Blue Sisters, and so I've been dying to read this book just because it's the same author. This one I would like to pick up because I've heard a lot of great things about it. Whoa, something shifted back here. And they both seem like really genuinely good books, but I think I want to go with Cleopatra and Frankenstein just because it's obviously newer on the TBR cart, and that's always gonna one up anything else, I think. And this also takes place in New York, which I think is super fun. I love New York City. This, I believe, is like a sugar daddy type of situation, or like an age gap relationship for sure. I don't know if it's out of pocket saying it's a sugar daddy situation, but I don't know. I'm just interested to see like what I'm gonna think of this book, knowing I already read another book by this author and loved it. So, and this was actually her debut, so I'm really excited. This is the one that I'm gonna choose for that prompt. So book number 4 on the November TBR. Throwing that back up there, fixing the hair. Sorry, it's like a mess today. This is all we're getting. Next prompt. Let's see, we'll go with this one. Love this for me. Your choice. It's not focusing, but I promise you it says your choice. There's so many options. I don't know. There's so many books on here I genuinely want to read. I know we said George R. Martin, but I feel like that one, I can't choose. Like, I'm not choosing that one. I'm sorry. We do have Bury Our Bones in the Midnight Soil by V.E. Schwab. We have Fuel the Fire by Krista and Becca Ritchie. Once Upon a Broken Heart, Stephanie Garber. This one was just very recently on the TBR and I didn't read it. But I think I actually want to go with Fuel the Fire now that I've plucked it, because if I don't read it in November with this cover, I'm not going to read it any other time ever. And that's actually exactly what happened last year. I remember I wanted to read it in November and then it didn't get put on the TBR and I didn't read it because what am I doing reading a book with this cover any other month that's not November? So I think by default, this is going on the TBR and I do want to read it. This is book like 7 or 6 in the Addicted series. I actually haven't read the series at all this year, so this would be my book back into it, and I think have like the next 2 books. So I would love to continue the series and potentially finish it this year. I don't know if that's in the cards, but fingers crossed. We'll be Delulu for a minute. But this is also actually based on 2 of my favorite characters, Rose and Connor. They're my favorite couple. I think they are my favorite couple. I don't know, I love them all. We're gonna go with this one. The cover made the choice easy for me. This is also, what was I gonna say? Oh, a romance, of course. I don't think we have a romance on here yet. Well, besides the book club book, which is like forced to be on there. So we're gonna choose Fuel the Fire. Okay, how's this looking? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're gonna go with one more, I think. Yeah. One. Oh, I just dropped like a billion. Okay, let's just go with this one. It says a number in the title. That's interesting. A number in the title. Do I have that? I actually don't think we have a number in the title. This one over here, who is government, that's not a number. I did put the one that was in my sleeve. I threw it to the side here, so what's this one say? Food on the cover. Do I even have a book with food on the cover? I feel like I know the covers of these books, so I'm like just thinking them through as we're going by. I make the face because I don't know if this is what I want to read. Okay, we have some cakes and some cookies. I think that's it. Or at least that's what's kind of catching my eye here. Does this one have food on the cover? No. All right, I think we're gonna go with one of these 2. This is another Krista and Becca Ritchie, the same author as Fuel the Fire, but this is the beginning of a new series, which I'm not gonna lie, I've heard not very good things about it. So I'm thinking of actually like returning this book. Well, I've had it for so long, so I think I'm just gonna put this book in like a little free library because I don't think I'm ever gonna get to it. It's sat on the cart for like a year now, and I think I'm gonna finish Addicted series and then stop there because I don't want to read this. So by default, a half-baked murder is the book that's gonna go on the November TBR. I've also had this for quite a while and I have been wanting to read it. It just looks like a fun, lighthearted, maybe mystery. So I think this is the book I'm gonna choose, and hopefully I like it. It looks enjoyable, it looks fun, fresh, different, and that's the energy I'm seeking right now. So I guess this is about, a formerly trained pastry chef is opening a cannabis bakery. That sounds fun. She's 28, living in Paris with a hot fiance and a Michelin star restaurant gig. Wait, this looks so fun. I'm reading this. So this is the November TBR. Let's get into it. All right, first book I'm gonna mention is If It Makes You Happy by Julie Olivia. Like I mentioned, this, oops, sorry, my phone flash is going off for no reason. This is a romance book, and I think what really caught my eye, especially right now, is that I guess it's a romance book kind of taking place in a little city or cute town like Sleepy Hollow from Gilmore Girls. And if you don't know, I'm currently watching Gilmore Girls right now. I'm like season 4, so I'm like in between, like right in the middle of it, and I'm loving it. So I think reading something that will put me in that same vibe, I just think is really like attractive to me. Like that's what I want to do right now. And obviously, like, is this not Rory? And then we have the little like gazebo in the back. It's just so cute. The cover is really fun. Like I mentioned earlier, it's the perfect fall read. It's obviously giving November, and I feel like where I live in Southern California, it doesn't look like this outside. If I have to get this vibe from reading a book, then this I think is the perfect book to do it. So I'm really excited to read it. I'm not gonna really look into the synopsis and see like what the romance is actually about, but I do believe something along the lines of one of them is like working at a cafe. I don't want to read too much. It just says small town next door neighbor Cliff. I don't need to say more. I think this is right up my alley. Next up, we have, I think, Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire. This is book 4, technically year 4, and I'm currently reading book 3 right now, so obviously this is the perfect book to add to the TBR because it's naturally the next book I'm going to pick up in the series. I am actually pairing each book with the movie, so I definitely am glad that this is going to be on the November TBR because I want to continue my way through the series. This is the next book. Then I don't remember in order what we put next, but I think we have The Buffalo Hunter, which I looked it up and it is a historical fiction book, but it's actually a horror book too, which is so interesting. I was reading the synopsis and it kind of reminds me of Sinners, the movie, because it also has like vampires and it just seems like super dark and mysterious, and it sounds really interesting. Again, I feel like getting out of October, this is going to be the perfect like transitional book. I've been loving historical fiction a lot right now, and I feel like in November, like those are the types of books that I mostly want to pick up. So this is also on our November TBR. Then we have Cleopatra and Frankenstein by Coco Mellor's debut novel, and I'm very, very excited to see this and compare it to Blue Sisters. Obviously, it's nothing to do with that. This one is about Cleo. She works or lives in New York, and she marries someone 20 years her senior. So it is an age gap romance, and I believe we just follow them too as they try to figure out their marriage, try to balance like their friendships, their families, and all of that good stuff. So it just sounds interesting. I believe it's more of just like a general contemporary fiction. Then we have Fuel the Fire by Kristen and Becca Ritchie. Like I had mentioned before, this is like deep in the middle of a romance series, the Addicted series. This one is basically like found family to the max. It has a really, really intriguing, fun, entertaining family. They each have their problems that they're dealing with. We follow a couple different couples, and this one follows Rose and Connor, who are like the older ones. And so I really, really, really enjoyed their earlier book, their Kiss the Sky, I believe, and that was probably one of my favorite books in the series thus far, and it surprised me the most because I didn't think I would love them the most, but I do. So I'm very excited to get back into the series. I think I've pushed it off for so long because it's a thicker book than like the other ones, and the font is kind of small, so I'm like, I've just been pushing it off. But again, if I'm not reading this in November, I'm just never gonna finish the series because it's the perfect time to read it. So really, really hoping I could take this off of my TBR cart. Last but not least, we have A Half-Baked Murder by Emily George. I was actually looking into it a little bit more, and like I had mentioned, she's a pastry chef living in Paris, but I guess she goes through like a humiliating breakup, and that makes her want to flee to her hometown of California, and there is where she opens up her bakery with cannabis products with her aunt. And so then I guess a friend of the aunt like ends up murdered or dead, and so the aunt is kind of prime suspect number one. So it's also a little bit of a mystery, obviously, that we're following, which I think is just so fun. Like that just seems like a great palate cleanser, and so this is going to be a great book to pick up in the middle of the month when we're reading more of like heavier fantasy horror books. I think this is the perfect choice. So those are all the books on my November TBR. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye!